Welcome to a Kintripper virtual tour of our 4-berth Majestic 100 motorhome. Right, we're going to start the virtual tour like we did with the other 2 motorhomes. We'll start with everything on the outside. We'll do the internal bits in a minute. Down here, we have our drain. This collects all the water from the sinks, basins and showers. Once full, you need to go to your motorhome service point on the campsite, find the drain. There's a little quarter turn bit here. You just open that up, let all the water drain out, and then close it again. Right, here we have the wind out awning. What we do, you have a little hook there. We stick that into that little bit there. What we do is unwind the awning. To a point like that. What we have is 2 legs in here. We take one leg down, open that up and drop this leg down to the floor. We then bring the other leg out, do exactly the same, drop that leg to the floor like so. And then what we will do is we'll lift the awning up slightly. Then what we will do is we will unwind the awning out a little bit further. We'll then move each leg out with it. This saves putting too much pressure on the bar that's going across the motorhome. We then continue to go out again, forward fully. We can then put them in their place. And then what we have 2 pegs that could be pegged down through the awning leg, so if you get a little bit of wind, it will hold it in the grass. To pack it up again, we will obviously wind it back in the opposite way. A little bit at a time. Bring the legs back. So about a point like that. We can then obviously undo these little leg adjusters again. Drop the legs in. And then pop the legs back in like this. There's a little catch here that you just need to make sure they're pushed in properly like that. And then we just wind the awning all the way back in, like so. This is the clip for the leg to clip in. This obviously is important to get in before you wind it back up, else it won't wind in properly. You just literally pop it in there and clip it down like that. Right, when you get onto any campsite and you want your mains power to the motorhome, you have your electric hookup lead situated under one of the dinette seating area in one of the cupboards there. What we need to do is run this off. So we've got 2 ends here. We have the end with the flap on. That end goes onto the motorhome. The other end runs off to the power supply on the campsite. So you need to pop this end into the campsite, run the whole lead off because it can get very hot and catch on fire. Then what we need to do is open this cupboard up. This here just flicks in behind the cupboard in that little groove there, and we just push that on to that. And then basically that's your electric onto this motorhome. This motorhome does also have solar panels. If you're doing wild camping, you wouldn't need to use the electric hookup lead. You would just work off the solar panels and the leisure battery that's already on board. And then to take it off again, you just clip this little flip here because it sits over like a little ridge. You need to pull that off, wrap it all up, and you're good to go. Here we have our diesel fill up. What we do is we send the motorhome out full, what you need to do is obviously return the motorhome full. Any misfueling is down to the hirer to sort out. Right, just inside the driver's side door, there's a few things I want to touch base with. What we have here is the bonnet release. So if you need to get into the bonnet to check your oil levels or to top up your screen wash, you can pull and release the bonnet there. Also, the vehicle battery is situated just under the rug there. That's your vehicle battery, not your leisure battery. Also, under the passenger seat, we have all the spare wheel jacks and spanners and all that. The spare wheel was situated under the back of the motorhome, and if you have any real troubles trying to change your spare wheel, I suggest just giving our breakdown cover a ring and get those guys out to sort it for you. Right, now we've released the bonnet from the lever inside, we have a little catch almost central to the bonnet itself. Just flick that up, open that. The only things you really need to be worried about here is the oil. The oil we make sure is fully topped up before you go away, so you shouldn't really need to do too much here, but that's where you obviously check the level of the oil, and if you need to fill it up, there's a cap there to undo the fill. The only other thing we need to worry about is the wash fluid for the windscreen. Again, we make sure that's fully full before you go on your hire, but if you obviously need to top it up, it's just there. And then to drop the bonnet again, we'll just pop the arm down and just let it drop a little bit like that. Right, on the driver's side of the van, we have our gas locker. Inside the gas locker, we have our hose, which fills up the water, and we also have 2 gas bottles. We supply obviously 1 full bottle with every hire. Normally you will have 1.5 bottles. If you run out of both bottles, you would need to replace that yourselves. But in here we have a little on. We need to turn that anti-clockwise to turn the gas on. Also, we have a little green switch there. We want to click that and then go into the gas hob and check you've got any gas. Once you know you've got gas coming through, you can use all your gas appliances. If you need to change the gas bottle for any purpose because it's empty, we've got spanners here provided, and you just need to obviously take the nut off that one and pop it onto that one, and then you've got a full gas bottle again. So in here, to turn the gas bottle on, we have these little turning knobs at the top of the bottle. We need to turn that anti-clockwise to turn it on. Then we have this little green switch or button that you push. You need to push that down like so, and also there's a little one at the back. Push that one, go in, check that you've got gas coming out the hob, and as long as you have got gas coming out the hob, you're all good to go. You can fire up your hot water and things. To turn it off before you drive away, because obviously your gas needs to be off, you just turn this clockwise until the gas is off, and then you're ready to go. Right, to top the fresh water up on this motorhome, we've got the hose pipe out from the gas cupboard. This has the whale end, that needs to go into the motorhome, and that goes onto the tap at your motorhome service point. Basically all you do is pop that bit onto the tap. You can turn the tap on because no water will come out of that until you locate it in here. Also, what you've got to make sure is the power is on in the motorhome, else this motorhome will not fill because it's got a little solenoid valve that needs power to it. So you literally plug that bit in like so, pull that down to hold it in place, and then it will just fill. It probably takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill. You'll hear it stop when you do it. So then to obviously take it off, just lift the little cap up, pull it, and just pop it straight back into the gas cupboard. Right, in this motorhome we have a cassette toilet, and obviously everything goes into the cassette. Once that cassette is full, you need to find your chemical disposal point on the campsite. What you do is lift this green handle, pull the cassette out. You've got a little handle there that you can wheel it to the chemical disposal point. And what I normally do is we open that up, pour all the contents down the chemical disposal point. I normally fill it about 1/3 full of water, pop the cap on, give it a good shake, and empty it again. And then to pop it back in, You just got to push it in and make sure that clip locates. Also what we have is our blue, add blue, which is obviously the toilet chemicals. It's slightly different to the other two motorhomes. So what we need to do is add the blue and the water into that area there, which is for the flush for your toilet. And this is the indicator here to show you how full it is. So once this tube is to the top, you know your flush is full. And then that is that. Right, I just want to run through some things just inside the habitation door. We have our fire extinguisher to the motorhome here. We also have our main power switch. So when you stop, whether that's at a beach or at the campsite, to fire up any power, you've got a little black switch here. You need to switch that down. Right, what we have in here is all the TV aerial. What we will do is we've got a little shelf here that we put the TV on. The TV is in the cupboard, which I'll go through with you in a minute. Once that's all plugged in and all that, we need to try and tune the telly in. What I would normally do is just try and tune the telly in as it stands. Sometimes you're lucky and it'll work, other times you're not so lucky. If you're not so lucky, we need to start playing with this aerial situation here. We need to check this red light's on, which means the booster is on. We then could undo this little nut here, push the aerial up in the air, like so, and you've got a little turny lever here which tilts the satellite dish one way or the other. A little tip is go out and have a look at where everyone else is facing and try and point this in the same direction, and you should get your TV. And then before you drive off again, you've got to make sure you pull your aerial down again and lock it off. So in the cupboard next to the aerial booster and things, we have all the sheets and mattress protectors for the two beds located there. Right, on all the windows we have fly screens and blackout blinds. You literally just pull the blackout blind down and it hooks into a couple of little hooks. And then behind that we have the fly screen. So you can have the windows open and stop the flies coming into the vehicle. So in this motorhome we have the TV in this cupboard. This TV's in the box with the remote control. What you want to do is then pull this little shelf up, pop the TV on there, and you have your 3-pin plug and your aerial for your TV there. Right, in this little area here, I'll go through this as well, we have a couple of USB ports which are connected to the solar panels where you can charge your phones and things. We also have the little sort of power display unit which tells you how much water, how much charge you got in your batteries. Once we turn the little power switch on down there, you will see this little indicator will come up in that point there. Once your water is topped up and you want water coming out your taps, you need to flick that switch down, and that's your pump for your water. This little switch here, you just push down, you watch the indicator, that shows you how much water is in the water tank. At the moment it's empty, that's why it's gone down to 0. If it was full, obviously it would go up that way. This here, you've got the auxiliary battery, which is your leisure battery. It's showing you what sort of power it's got on that, and then you can flick over to the vehicle battery, and that will show you what power is in there. That also, if you've also run out of leisure battery, you need a little bit more battery, you can flick across the vehicle battery and use a bit of power, but please don't run all your vehicle battery down, else you'll be won't be able to start your vehicle. Right, here we have our hot water section. The hot water only works on gas on this vehicle, so what we need to do first off is press that switch down. We then need to make sure the gas is on, and like I say, go to the gas hob and check you've got gas there. Once you know you've got gas coming through, we then basically need to set desired temperature. So you can turn this around, you've got 40, 50, 60, so say let's pick it at 60. We then need to turn this switch over, and then that will eventually light. If it goes red, you've got a little green thing there. If that actually goes red, you will need to come back and go again. This might happen because there's air in the pipe rather than gas, so it might take you 3, 4, or 5 times to do this until it eventually kicks into gear. And then when you finish with it, just pop it back to 0 and flick the switch off. Right, you have two forms of heating in this van. You either have the gas fire or you have the blow air heating. For the blow air heating, we need to flick that switch down. We then got a wattage, so we've either got 500 watts, 1000 watts, or 2000 watts, depending on how hot you want it to be. So let's say you want it at 1000 watts, let's come down to 1000. This here is your room stack, which has got numbers 1 to 9 on it. So I don't know what temperature each of them is, but if you set it at say 3 or 4, it's not quite hot enough, you can go up a little bit further, vice versa. If you're a bit too hot, you can turn it down a bit. And then to turn it off, just come there and turn it off. Right, once we've got the heating set up there, or at our 1000 watts or whatever, we need to come down here. This here has got your fan speeds and all that for the blow air heating. So we need to flick this switch to the left. And this here changes the fan speed. So 5's really high and 1's really low. And then that just kicks that over. We've also got a gas fire function here. So this works a bit like gas fires at home. You need to turn the dial around, you need to press the dial down, and that's your ignition. You need to look through this little looking glass. It's not the easiest thing to see the flame. You need to kind of be at the angle I am here now, and I can now see that the flame is lit down there. And then you release it and then set that at whatever temperature you want. Obviously 10 is the hottest, 1 is the coolest. And then just to turn it off, you just come all the way down to 0, and that turns the gas off. Right, we do have a fixed double bed in this motorhome. It's actually above the cabbie there. This bit here flicks up and down, so if you need a bit more headspace as you're walking around, you can. If you want the bed, you can pull that down, and we've got our mattress protectors and sheets up there. We also have a ladder here. That ladder clips onto there like so, and you can climb up and down. We also have a couple curtains, and there's also a light up there as well, and that's basically the top bed. In this motorhome here, we don't have front blackout blinds. What we have is a curtain either side. We literally just pull that curtain all the way around to halfway, and then we've got another one this side that pulls together, and that's your blackout for the front cabbie. And then just pop it back again, like so. So just behind the driver's seat here, we have a set of levelling blocks. If you pull up onto site or whatever, and the van's a little bit unlevel, you can use them to level the van off. And then they are just located just behind the driver's seat. Right, in the front cabbie, what we have is just like a general van. So like all your indicators and gear sticks are all in similar places what your cars and things would be. We also have a reversing camera on this one. You've got a little on-off button there. What I tend to do, even when I'm driving, is keep it on. Yeah, like so. And then you can see, if you're driving down the dual carriageway, you can see what's coming behind you. All your radio stuff and Bluetooth for your phone can be wired up to this, and you've got all the bits on the steering wheel. Also, all our first aid stuff, we've got a little shelf underneath the driver's seat. All your first aid stuff's in under there. Our information manuals in the front there, just in that one there. And you've got your first aid kits and things just in the glove box. And that's pretty much the front cab, really. Right, here we have the second bed. This gets made up with a dinette area. To start off, we've got two little kind of shelving situations here. So what we need to do is lift this cushion up a little bit and pull that one up. You need to come to this side and do exactly the same thing. We then have a little pull-out section in the middle of the van. We need to pull that out and bring that all the way to the end. Then basically what we do is you've got all these sort of cushions, so you just literally flick them around like so. You use the cushions on this side as well, and you basically make up the bed as such. And then to pop it back again, just pop your cushions back. This here will just push back into place. And then to put these back, it's not easy, it's a bit awkward. You've got two little levers on the end of the sort of bracket. You need to kind of pull it up, press them in until you hear that click, and then they go back down again. Right, obviously you can have your dinner around here, so we do have a table for this area here. The table is located down the side of here. Also with your outside table, you literally pop the two little hooks on there, drop the leg out, and you've got yourself somewhere you can have your dinner or your tea. Right, in all 3 motorhomes, this is the one for the Swift, but we've got this in every motorhome, so it won't show you all of them, but we have an information pack, and inside this information pack we have all our safety bits, which are all on board. So we have things like first aid kits, high-vis jackets, all the safety kits you need to know. Mine and Lisa's contact telephone numbers within this pack, a little write-up on the history of the business, how we set it up and all that. We've got things to remember before you drive off, stuff like turning all the gas off, remember to disconnect the electric heat, close all windows and skylights, and make sure the electric lead is tucked away. We've also got the height and width of the vehicles. We've got our penalty charges, which are there. We have our accident form. So if you do have an accident, it's most important you do need to fill this out. This will have the details of yourself, the other vehicle, and a little diagram on how the accident has happened. We also have our breakdown cover policy there. So if you break down, you just phone the number that's highlighted in yellow and they'll come out and help you. Also got our insurance documents, and in the Swift here we have this second bed that made up. It shows you where all the cushions are and how they go together for this second bed. We also have some instructions on how the timers and fridge works, and we've also got our gas safety certificates and habitation check certificates in this folder. Right, in here we have our sort of toilet shower room. In this corner we have a shower. Obviously it's just like you shower at home. You just obviously select your temperature and pull the lever up and it just works like so. We also have a shower curtain there that you can wrap around yourself. Also in here we have the basin. The basin is a flip down basin above the toilet, so you just pop that down, swing the tap out, make sure your water pump's on at the dashboard, and out comes the water to your sink. And then to finish off, you just pop the tap back like so, push the sink up. This here is a toilet. The toilet has a flush. So what we do is you press the little blue button there, which runs the flush. And then you've got a little lever here, which drops everything down into the set. So we literally open that lever, everything drops in. You can then give it another little flush if you want. Close it off and drop the lid. Right, we'll just go through the kitchen area view a little bit now. Here we have the gas hob. Again, we need to make sure the gas is on. Lift the lid. And then, obviously, it's just like your gas cooker at home or your gas hob at home. You just move the dial, press it in, which is most important, and your igniter for it is on the main cooker like that. Obviously, keep lighting until you see the flame, and then that's how it works. But one thing we need to think about with this one, the same as the other motorhomes, is do not put the glass lid down straight after you've been cooking, because that will shatter the glass lid. So if you want to wait sort of 20 minutes, half hour, you can then put the lid down and it'll be cold enough to do so. Right, here we have the grill. The grill is at the top. To get the grill working, we've got the left-hand switch there, which shows obviously the grill at the top there. So again, it's just like your grill at home. You need to push the knob in, click the igniter until the grill sparks. Underneath that we have the main oven. This side is the main oven. So again, we need to push it in, do the igniter, hold it probably for about 10 seconds, let go. And then you've obviously, a bit like your oven at home, you just pick a temperature and off it goes. Underneath that is our pots and pans. So that's where all your pots and pans will be kept for the cooker. Right, here we have a three-way fridge. This works either on mains hookup, if you're at a campsite. If you're wild camping, it will work on gas. And we also have a battery operation. This battery operation is only to be used when the vehicle is being driven. This will maintain the coolness of the fridge when you've unhooked up for your day out, and then when you can come back, you can either go back to your gas or your electric. Do not travel around with the gas on and the fridge working. That's what the battery is. So to open the fridge, we have a little lock mechanism here. You need to go into the unlock position, which means then you can open your fridge, which has a little freezer compartment in as well. When you get to your campsite and you plug your mains electric hookup in, you can then select the mains electric lead. That will then keep the fridge cold. If you're driving around, you need the battery operation to maintain the coolness of the fridge. You then select the battery. And then if you're wild camping or whatever like that, and you need to use the gas, you flick around to the gas, make sure the gas is on at the cupboard. We then turn the knob a little bit, push this in. You've got to push this in. And you keep clicking this until this orange line moves into the green. Once you start seeing that move, you know the gases are light. I would probably hold down for a further sort of 5 to 10 seconds, release the button, and then the further you go around that way, the cooler the fridge is. So I would probably set it as sort of around the 6 o'clock mark and leave your fridge tick over on that. And then obviously before you drive off again, you need to make sure your gas is off, flick back to your battery, or even in the off position, set that back into the off position and lock the fridge. Right, here we have the main fuse box. This is only for 240, so if you're wild camping, this means nothing because you're not plugged into the electric. So if you go onto your campsite and you plug your electric lead in, and you flicked on the power switch down here, which I showed you earlier, and things ain't working, you might need to check the fuses. All these fuses need to be in the up position. If they're all in the up position and something's still not working, you tend to have a small mini fuse box where you connect on the campsite side of things. You also need to check that obviously the fuse hasn't gone or the trip switch hasn't gone that end. Obviously if they're all in the up position, everything should work fine. Right, here we have the kitchen sink. This one also has a glass lid on it, so just obviously gain access to the sink. Just need to lift that up. That's like a little draining board. Make sure your pump's on, like we showed you earlier, for the water tap. Open your tap up and you have your water. And then just close it off again. Also, the motorhomes come fully equipped, so all your pots, pans, plates, cutlery, fire blankets, cleaning products, gas kettles, electric toasters are all in these 3 cupboards here. So anything you need for the kitchen is in those 3 cupboards. Right, the habitation door is a bit funny to close on this one. So what we need to do is, as we close it, you need to have this handle pulled out. You then close it in like so. We then have the key. Right, to pop the key in, it's just quarter turn to lock. So to lock it is, there we go, that way, and to unlock it is anti-clockwise. So to lock clockwise, quarter turn, and to unlock it, anti-clockwise. Okay. Right, thanks for watching the virtual handover tour. If you have any questions before your adventure, then please ask.